Welcome to my first Pokemon Draft League YouTube series. In this series, I will be participating in Season 2 of the Paldea Draft League, or PDL for short. I was a coach last season, but didn't upload any of my games to YouTube. I ended up just barely missing out on the final divisional tournament, so this season I am back and hoping to secure my spot in the playoffs. This video is intended to serve as an introduction to the PDL and Pokemon Draft League in general. So if you have a basic understanding of the format, you can probably skip out on this one. With that out of the way, let's get into what a Pokemon Draft League is and why, in my opinion, it's so much more fun than traditional competitive Pokemon. A Pokemon Draft League is very different from typical competitive Pokemon in either Battle Stadium in the games or on Pokemon Showdown's ladder metagames. Most draft leagues contain 14 coaches and are snake-style drafts. This means all 14 coaches are randomized into an ordered list and draft in the order of the list going forward and backward until they draft their final team of Pokemon. One of the nuances of the snake draft is when the draft gets to the final coach in the ordered list, they now choose again and the draft continues in reverse order until it makes its way back to the first coach. This continues back and forth until each coach fulfills the requirements of their team, which I will explain now. Each Pokemon available in Scarlet and Violet has a point value between 19 and 1 assigned to them based on their power and viability in battle. Coaches only have 120 points to choose their entire team of 9 to 11 Pokemon, which means they have to spread out and choose powerful and weaker Pokemon in order to stay within the 120 point limit. For example, if the first player in the draft chooses the 19-point Pokemon Dragapult, they only have 101 points to make the rest of their picks, and other players are unable to pick Dragapult for the rest of the draft. Now that I've explained the basics of a Pokemon draft, let's dive deeper into the specifics of the PDL. The PDL is a massively popular draft league amongst the community, so because of that, it allows a whopping total of 74 coaches to compete in it. In order to accomplish this, they split all 74 coaches into 6 divisions of 14 coaches. Each of these divisions operates as their own separate league, which means there are 8 matches played across 8 weeks between players to determine their individual ranking in the division. After the final rankings of each coach are determined, the 7 highest ranked players will start their journey to playoffs. However, once the playoff season begins, this is where things start to get a little complicated. The top ranking player from each division automatically makes it to the playoffs bracket, while the remaining 2nd through 7th ranked coaches must battle it out to determine who makes it to the final bracket of the season. From here, the top 4 players from each division will be placed into a bracket containing players from all other divisions to determine which player is the best in the league. This also means that there can be duplicate Pokemon between divisions, so strategizing and team building is a lot more difficult. I hope my explanation of the PDL was clear, but if anything was unclear or you need a reference guide, feel free to ask in the comments. But I will also include a link to my Divisions League document in the description for reference. Additionally, I'll include a link to the Discord group in case you're interested in joining a future season or supporting a coach as they move along in their journey through PDL Season 2. Although I didn't make it this far last season, my goal for this season is to at least make it to the final 24 coach bracket, but winning it all would be just as rewarding for this being only my 2nd draft league ever. Let's go Green Bay Grimers!